The mountains are calling and we must go. Join us as we adventure into the heart of Iceland.
Welcome back everyone, here we go. It is time for another adventure. So we've just had quite a few days of sleety rain, cold, drizzle, and the sun now has come out. It feels like a different place. There is fresh snow on all of the mountains. Some of the roads in the direction that we're going are actually closed right now for snow and ice, but the weather's changing, so we think they're going to open up again. We're going to go up there and have a look anyway and see what we find out. And right now we are driving through kind of a valley, a big glacial valley with mountains on either side of us. And my understanding is in a minute, we're going to start climbing in a very big way. This is actually Iceland's highest road that we're about to drive. It goes up to nearly 1,000 meters, and probably it's going to be winter up there. So come with us as we go exploring into the interior of Iceland, into new ground. Let's go check out the highlands and see what they have to offer. I can see some extremely big switchbacks coming very soon. We're just about to go up and up. And once again, stop to air down the tires. Is this a contender for most beautiful place you've ever aired down your tires? This is insane. We haven't seen a car for like an hour. There's plenty of snow on the mountains down there. There's plenty of snow right there directly above us and off in the distance. So let's air down these Yokohama AT4s. I'm glad they're snow rated. I'm glad they've got some siping, because I think we are about to drive up into the snow. Really warm and sunny down here. It's kind of a hard thing to do, but we're hoping it'll be clear tonight. Maybe there'll be northern lights. Maybe there'll be some star viewing. Pretty sure there's a hot spring up here too. Let's go for it.
When I moved from rural Australia to Canada almost 20 years ago, I had no idea that mountains would feature so heavily in my life. I'd hardly ever seen snow, and I certainly hadn't explored rough and rocky roads up and over these majestic giants. Since then, no matter where I am in the world, I seek out the mountains and I try to get as remote as possible. Climbing up this rocky road gives me that same sense of exploration that I feel every time I venture into the mountains. What's around the next corner? What's up and over the next hill? I simply have to know. We've been poring over maps of Iceland for weeks now, and it's always a strange experience to actually drive the squiggly line after so much time visualizing and thinking what it will actually look like to doing it in the flesh. Of course, we have time on our side, and we were able to wait out the nasty weather and get such a beautiful clear day to have these commanding views down into the valley we've just driven up and further ahead into the barren wasteland. When we reach the top, my jaw literally falls open. This is not what I was expecting, but it is supremely beautiful, and being surrounded by snow-capped mountains and the biggest glacier in Europe only adds to the sense of isolation and awe. The scale out here is absolutely staggering, and there is not a soul around.
People told us it was going to look like the outback, and like the moon. The Apollo astronauts actually came here to train because it's like the moon. And I gotta say, I agree. This looks a lot like the moon. There is absolutely nothing out here. For now, we're just going to enjoy driving our Jeep on the moon.
After hours bumping along what has become a dusty track, we arrive at Laugafell, one of the highlights of central Iceland. One thing I've learned overlanding Iceland, it doesn't matter where you go, you'll find some interesting vehicles. From rental Suzuki Jimnys all the way up to monster Unimogs, there are cool vehicles all over the place.
So here we go, we're kind of on top of the world right now, set up for camping in this beautiful spot. The glacier is kind of just falling behind the clouds, but it's just there in the background. And you might notice I don't have any clothes on. I'll show you why. Icelanders know what they're doing. They build campsites in incredible places. So we're way up in this lava field. We're like middle of nowhere kind of thing. And of course, there is a hot spring, Dan's favorite. So I have to show you guys how incredible this is. Hi guys. Hi. So there we go, natural hot spring at the end of our road today. What will tomorrow bring? Let's find out tomorrow.
Overnight, the temperature drops and the wind picks up. We've started sleeping with the diesel heater on overnight, and it makes a huge difference to our comfort and makes sure that Aurora can stay warm no matter how cold it gets outside. In the morning, the road picks up pretty much where it left off, driving through the moon, although now we have mountains closer to us and we tackle a few interesting river crossings. There's a lot of warnings on the maps about these. I guess a lot of people bring small rental cars up here. For the Jeep, they don't pose any problem at all. They have a nice rocky bottom, so there's plenty of traction, and we just continue forward at our usual slow and steady pace. We had a great chat to the ranger back at the station and got updates on road conditions and highlighted a bunch of spots on our map we need to get to in the coming months. Even the road we're driving right now was closed just yesterday for snow, so it's melted really quickly, although the ranger did say we should expect a couple of patches, which I have to admit I'm a little bit excited about. As you can see, we're getting a lot closer to those mountains in the distance, and there is a few small patches of snow that pose no problem at all.
I said earlier I was a little disappointed there weren't any snow-capped mountains when we got up into the highlands. Check that out. That is one of the biggest glaciers. I think it's the biggest glacier in Europe, and we're just going to parallel the edges of it. This is just bonkers. It is blowing my mind where we've driven to. And actually in the other direction over there, there's another glacier. That one is also ginormous. It just doesn't look as impressive. And so this is what it's like up in the highlands of Iceland. We're just going to find out there's some road closures still. There's quite a bit of snow around on certain tracks, so we're just going to have to figure out exactly where we should go. But this is incredible, blowing my mind. I don't even have words anymore.
We eventually pry ourselves away from the most beautiful picnic site in the world, and we poke our noses down a separate track, the F910. This one parallels the enormous glacier and takes us off to the northeast towards Askja, one of Iceland's most famous volcanic regions and a place that is extremely high on my must-visit list. This F910, in the best of times, is a very long drive, somewhere between 8 and 10 hours to get to the next official campsite. And the ranger told us this one specifically still has a lot of heavy snow, and just yesterday some rangers found it impassable. The snow is just too deep. Of course, the sun is out now and conditions are changing rapidly, and we decide to just poke down for 10 or 15 minutes, first of all to enjoy the views, but second of all to get a handle on what the road conditions are like, how the Jeep handles it, and what it's going to be like when we do eventually come back. This one is so high on my list, I have a really hard time turning around after 15 minutes. Safe to say, the sun kept beaming and we just kept grinning from ear to ear as we travelled this Martian landscape. I've been seriously looking forward to the interior of Iceland ever since we got here, and for our first foray, this has not disappointed in the least, and I am absolutely blown away. And we've barely scratched the surface. Next time on The Road Chose Me, we try to drive to the top of the most active volcano in Iceland. Forget about the warning signs, the views are worth it. This one you do not want to miss. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you soon.
Trogdor! Trogdor! Trogdor is the burninator. Trogdor in the night.